Chapter 101. What didn't help. Didn't help doesn't mean useless. Didn't help means it alone didn't produce lasting results. I remained at square one after each attempt. The coefficient of pain didn't change. Only the quality of life fluctuated, while the foundation stayed the same. Talk therapy. Many therapists over 20 years. Each helped briefly. Each gave an insight I wrote in a journal and forgot within a week. The problem was the format. I came, talked, analyzed, left. The head understood. The body didn't. I could explain my patterns in 3 languages, draw the Cartman triangle, the victim-persecutor-rescuer cycle, with my eyes closed, quote Petronovsky and Hellinger, and still screamed at Artem, drank in the evening, didn't sleep at night, planned divorce. Because knowing is not changing. Understanding why doesn't override an automatic reaction recorded in the body before you learn to speak. Tanya, my primary therapist, hoped I was good. But over 2 years, my self-esteem dropped even lower. Not because she worked poorly, because the format of talking about pain didn't work for me. I talked, and the pain intensified. I named things, and the named became more real, as if giving a name to a monster doesn't shrink it, but makes it visible. And a visible monster is scarier than an invisible one. EMDR. Didn't help, or helped minimally. I felt no difference after sessions. Maybe because dissociation was so deep nothing could reach the body. Maybe because my control wouldn't allow me to relax enough for reprocessing to happen. But before describing what didn't help with the body, I need to explain what was wrong with it. Because from the outside, nothing. From the outside, I look like a woman who has it all together. Fit figure, daily exercise, ran, stretched, lifted. Colleagues saw me in meetings, collected, energetic, that same super AI machine solving problems in impossible time frames. Nobody knew that inside this beautiful vehicle was collapse, that the engine was about to die, that I was held up by external muscles, the facade, and inside, in the core, where the foundation should be, emptiness. The body hurt all the time. Roaming pain, spontaneous breaking, deep as in the bone, as in the joint. Just lying there and something aches in one spot, burns in another, clenches in a third. Pain like being beaten with a crowbar, or already beaten. Knots throughout the body, trigger points in many muscles, shift slightly, a spasm starts where you shifted. Sit in a pose, somewhere else locks up. The body reacted to every movement with resistance, as if 1,000 threads were stretched inside, and each jerked at any touch. Doctors called it neuropathic pain, pain from damaged nerves, prescribed gabapentin, but later I learned another word, neuroplastic, from the wonderful book The Way Out. This is when the nerves are fine, but the brain still generates pain, not because something is broken, because it learned to. 40 years of relaxing equals dangerous. And the brain reprogrammed itself, recorded pain as normal, as habit, roaming pain that changes location, knee today, lower back tomorrow, ribs the day after. That's not nerves. That's a brain that forgot how to live without pain, like I forgot how to live without anxiety. Insomnia. Since age 21, since my mother's death. Not sleep poorly, 3 to 4 hours a night, for years. Trazodone prescribed for sleep didn't help. I'd wake at 2 a.m. and lie until morning, feeling the body break. And through all of this, I ran every morning, did abs, stretched, looked good on the surface, because the perfectionist wouldn't allow otherwise, because the body must be fit, otherwise Vanya would look with even more contempt. Because outside equals facade equals safety, and inside might as well lie down and die. And I lay down and didn't die and got up and ran. With this body I went to doctors, and doctors did what they knew, prescribed pills. each for its own task. Lamotrigine, mood stabilizer, for swings, for PTSD, to keep from being thrown between suicidal pit and hysteria. Lurasidone, for severe depression, for states where reality warps and you're not sure you're still here. Gabapentin, for neuropathic pain, anxiety, convulsions, for the body breaking at night. Adderall Fiends, for ADHD, so the brain could focus for at least a few hours so I could work. Trazodone, for insomnia that nothing cured. Antidepressants, later, for everything else. Pills like a layered cake, each layer for its own pain, each helped, briefly. Then the body adapted and everything returned. Pills balanced the chemistry but didn't touch the cause. Like painkillers for a fracture, pain leaves, bone doesn't heal. Chiropractor, a year, twice a week. Adjustments, shockwave therapy, extensions, no result. He himself gave up on me, saying he'd expected more. A chiropractor who gives up on a patient, like a barista refusing to make coffee. I was apparently a difficult order. Acupuncture, no result. Physical therapy, a year, 2 hours of exercises daily. Didn't help. Not because methods are bad, because the core inside was so weak the external muscles couldn't engage properly, and I couldn't even feel them. I did exercises and didn't feel them working. The trainer poked a muscle and said, "It's working." And I didn't feel, because dissociation, because the body was disconnected since birth. I'd later understand the internal muscles, core, had to strengthen first. Then the external ones would start working, like building a house, foundation first, then walls. But for years I built walls without a foundation and wondered why they collapsed. This was the same formula as in my entire life. Perfect outside, collapse inside, facade held, core didn't, Amazon, career, 6-figure salary. Those were the external muscles. And inside, the same child who at 6 months lay in a crib alone. No chiropractor, no physical therapy, no pills could reach it. Because it wasn't in the muscles, it was deeper. In the place you can only reach through breathing, through meditation, through the work I hadn't yet started. Ketamine, prescribed for suicidality, literally. When the psychiatrist sees a person planning to kill themselves and antidepressants aren't working, and there's no time to wait 6 weeks for SSRs to kick in, they prescribe ketamine. It hits fast. Not like a pill that accumulates, like a flash. Under ketamine. I relaxed for the first time. For the first time in my entire life. The body that hadn't relaxed since birth, clenched for 35 years without a break. Let go. Not I let go. It did. As if ketamine found the switch no doctor could find, and flipped it, and the body fell. Not into a faint, into peace. For the first time I learned what not straining means. Not trying to relax, but actually not straining. The difference is enormous, like between trying to fall asleep and sleeping, and I tried to memorize it with my body. And in that relaxation, things began to rise. Not thoughts, images, sensations, fragments. Under ketamine, the autopilot switched off, and I saw the living person behind it. Who wants to dance? Who wants to be beautiful? Who is tired of conforming and wants to be a living girl? I worked with ketamine my own way, not the clinic way, and sitting in a chair, IV drip, nurse nearby. My way was different. I recorded myself on a dictaphone. Everything I said under ketamine, every word, every whisper, every sob, stream of consciousness, unfiltered. The robot switched off slightly, and from under it spoke the one who'd lived inside for 41 years without a voice. And then, when the effect passed and I was myself again, collected, logical, controlling, I sat and listened to the recording, listened to myself, as a witness. This was more important than the ketamine itself, because no one in my life had ever been a witness. Grandmother didn't listen. Mother wasn't there. Grandfather left. Vanya was silent. And here I was, for myself, becoming the person who listens, without interrupting, without judging, without advising, simply listens. The dictaphone became my mirror. Under ketamine, I told the truth, the one I hid behind work during the day, and then I listened to that truth with sober ears. And every time I recognized myself anew, not the one colleagues and husband knew, but the one inside, real, frightened, alive. But ketamine didn't heal. Ketamine showed. The effect ended, and everything returned. The critics switched on. The rejected, not rejected scanner started working. Like a window into normal life. You see the landscape, but can't step outside. Mushrooms. 8 trips. Nearly died on the last one, not figuratively. Convulsions so strong I couldn't breathe through them. Mushrooms tried to do what the body wasn't ready for, and too fast. Like trying to rip off a corset worn since birth in one motion. The body couldn't take it. But mushrooms showed one thing. The path from the unconscious exists. I saw it like a map, only I needed to walk it much more slowly. MDMA helped, but like a gasp of air when suffocating. 2 to 3 days of afterglow, the feeling of being human, not a machine. Under MDMA, I first heard the kind internal voice. First could work with parts via IFS. First felt that Vanya loves me, and registered it, though before childhood filters blocked it. But MDMA is not a solution. It's a tool that opens the door. Walking through it must be done without the substance. AA didn't click. Reasons described in a separate chapter. Eternal repentance, no root digging, only God as solution. But through AA, I found ACA, and that was key. Alcohol. Obviously didn't help, but it's important to name. Alcohol was not the problem, but the answer to the problem. As therapist Oleg said, "You don't have an alcohol problem, you have many other problems." As Gabor Mate explained, alcohol is not a disease. Alcohol is an answer to pain. Until you find another answer, the bottle returns. Jail on my birthday didn't help. DUI didn't help. The breathalyzer tube in the car didn't help. Only one thing helped, finding another way to cope with pain.